The Shattered Medallion should have been a great game. Nancy and her friends are on a reality TV show which is hijacked by the wacky Sonny June. What went wrong? A lot. A lot went wrong. The dialogue's terrible, and that ruins the characters. They say weird, confusing things all the time. I can't understand what they're trying to say, which makes it harder to understand what's going on in the game. I was going to say that Nancy's friends, Bess and George, are just as fun as ever, but they're not. Bess also has terrible dialogue. Like, turtle. Turtle? Yeah, turtle. That's an actual conversation. And when Nancy asks Bess about Patrick, Bess tells a long story about the time she saw a cow. It's weird. So that's the number one problem with the game. The dialogue. It needs a thorough rewrite. I don't want to hear the characters talking in metaphors and half statements. The number two problem is that the culprit makes no sense. It feels like they decided on the culprit by picking a name out of a hat. I played this game many times, but I still don't understand the culprit's motive. The culprit says they want to kill Nancy in revenge for her betrayal. What betrayal? Nancy never betrayed the culprit in any way. She doesn't betray anyone. Nancy's not that kind of person. The culprit tries to kill George early on in the game. That attempted murder is never explained. Why did the culprit try to kill George? Revenge doesn't work as a motive because the culprit didn't know George then. Nancy and George have not met the culprit yet at that point in the game. Come to think of it, Patrick is the only character who's there before George's accident. Lena, Curie, Sonny, and Bess all show up afterwards. That should make Patrick the culprit by default. Maybe having a different culprit would improve the game. I'd be fine if the game had the same culprit, just as long as the culprit had a motive which made sense. The way it is now, the culprit tries to kill George and Nancy for no reason. That's bad, especially because there's an easy motive. Say the culprit wanted to sabotage the competition so they could win the reality show. That motive would have made sense. It's a little generic, but it's better than nothing, which is more or less what we got. I was similarly disappointed with the culprit's motive in the previous game, The Silent Spy, but that's another matter. The number three problem I have with this game, the reality show. The reality show angle doesn't work. The competitions are boring. The challenges are things like Nancy has to find flowers, and Nancy does a word search puzzle. It would be terrible TV viewing. It should be interesting to see Nancy have a kayak race against the other teams, but it's not because none of the other teams are there. It's just Nancy doing a kayak maze by herself. It's the same with the other competitions. No one else is there, so it doesn't feel like a competition. It feels like Nancy solving minor puzzles alone. The tiebreaker at the end of the game worked. Don't get me wrong, I don't enjoy that puzzle, but it felt like Nancy was actually competing against Curie in that puzzle. So the competition had tension for the first time. Which is weird to say because there should have been tension earlier when Lena stole Nancy's medallion. But no, that just leads to a bad conversation and Nancy forgets the whole thing. So the reality show angle needs to be improved. I think the way to improve it is by having actual competitions. Nancy needs to go head-to-head against the other characters instead of casually doing things alone and pretending it's a challenge. Other people think the reality show would be improved with new, different challenges. Like instead of picking flowers near a waterfall, race through a waterfall. Instead of a numbers puzzle and a sheep barn, everybody has to capture a sheep. Something like that. In the book, the reality show is a mystery reality show. The teams compete to find clues and solve puzzles. That was a good idea, which worked fine. I wonder why the game changed it to an action reality show, because the action reality show angle worked so poorly. The number 4 problem I have with the game is Sonny June's storyline, which is pretty dumb. Like the reality show, it's a good idea with terrible execution. The story is that Sonny's purposely manipulating the show because he's creating his own special team for a secret mission. Great, except the secret mission is finding an alien compass, which is so stupid. We get 2 hours of secrecy and double talk and assurances that things will eventually make sense. But they don't. It's all building up to a weird compass that doesn't do anything. It's a huge letdown, which is not worth it at all. Sonny's story would have worked better if he told Nancy the truth from the start. In the other Nancy Drew games where you find treasure, Nancy learns about the treasure early on. I think Curse of Blackmore Manor is the only one where they keep the treasure a secret until the end. But even then, you know you're looking for a treasure the whole time. In the Shattered Medallion, you're being manipulated into doing some weird stuff for no discernible purpose. It would have worked fine if Sonny told everybody he's looking for an alien compass. I could see him saying, "I don't care if you think I'm crazy. I'm the host of the show, so you have to do it." And that would improve the ending, because the ending would become, "Hey, Sonny was kind of right all along." And not, "Oh, it's a stupid star thing. Why does this matter?" Another problem with the Sonny storyline is that his special team is not well thought out. He needs Patrick to pull an underwater lever because Patrick can't swim. Well, that's dumb. If Sonny needed to pull a lever deep underwater, he could have used a diving suit. Similarly, he needs Curie to fit into a small space. Sonny could have used a child for that challenge, and the entire thing is rendered moot, because the small space quickly gets opened up to Nancy and everyone else. Sonny needs George for her athletic skills. That doesn't happen because she's injured right at the start of the game. Sonny needs Nancy's puzzle-solving skills and Lena's code-cracking skills. Those are pretty much the same. I bet Nancy could have decoded that message for Lena given enough time. And Sonny didn't have to bring Lena on a reality show just to have her decode a message. He could have hired her to crack the code when she was at home. That goes for everyone else except for the cave exploration. Sonny could have paid everybody to do their parts, long distance, instead of bringing them halfway around the world on a poorly conceived ruse. I think those are all the major problems with this game. Yeah, it's kind of mean to say I hated the reality show storyline and I hated the Sonny storyline because those are the only stories in the game. It's like I'm saying I hated all the game. There are some smaller problems. Nancy forming an alliance with Curie was pointless. Lena doesn't do anything in the last hour of the game. I don't know why Jamila was a phone contact when there were so many better options. I understand she's a member of Sonny's alien fan club, but imagine having someone way more interesting, like Henry Bolet or Quigley Kim. And Sonny was a bit too mild-mannered at times. I wanted to see his explosive personality at all times. I also wanted to see him mention Cocoa Kringles. Nancy got a lifetime supply of Cocoa Kringles at the end of Trail of the Twister. She could have bribed Sonny with a box of candy. That would have worked. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I have other videos like this one where I recommend ways to fix unpopular Nancy Drew games like Creature of Kapu Cave and Ransom of the Seven Ships. Check those videos out.